Spoilers for the Drum Island arc of One Piece. If you're not caught up, feel free to keep scrolling. Now, to address this comment, I couldn't respond with a video, so I'll tag you below. God, I love Oda's world building. Like, a single background detail can help expand the world so much more. This is something that I talk about a lot, and I wanted to highlight one of my favorite examples of this. Just a small detail that shows how alive and connected the world of One Piece really is. When Dr. Kureha is treating Nami on Drum Island, she talks about the fact that Nami has something called 5-day disease. That this disease comes from these insects called Kestias. Now, she goes on to say that these Kestias were believed to have gone extinct 100 years ago. And the only reason that she even had an antidote is because she decided to keep the vaccine just in case. Now, this statement actually gives us two key pieces of information. The first is that 100 years. If that insect is still alive and well, then why would people think that it went extinct 100 years ago? That's because of where Nami was bitten. Nami was bitten by the Kestia on Little Garden. And for the last 100 years, the island of Little Garden has been a battleground for Dory and Bragi. With two giants fighting constantly on the island, and the fact that the log post takes a year to actually lock on to the next island, it makes complete sense that the success rate of a ship actually getting to Little Garden and then moving on to the next island would be slim to none, meaning that these insects would not be able to travel to other islands anymore on people's ships. So the first thing that that statement is doing is adding to the lore of Little Garden. Their fight on Little Garden is having an international ecological effect. Now, the second part of her statement here, where she says, "Lucky for you, I kept a supply of the vaccine just in case," this tells us information about Kureha herself. Specifically, how dedicated she is to her craft, and just how long she has taken her craft this seriously. These insects went extinct 100 years ago, meaning that Kureha would have only been in her 30s at the time. And she was already a dedicated enough doctor that she was like, you know what, I'm going to keep a sample just in case this disease ever resurfaces. That's just one more detail showing us what caliber of doctor Dr. Kureha actually is, which tells us information about Chopper. Kureha is getting hyped up here to hype up the doctor that we're about to get on the crew. If she's this impressive and Chopper was trained by her, then we must be getting a pretty high caliber doctor ourselves. There's just so much information contained in those two speech bubbles.